Okay, this is gonna be the after action report for this Code 2 game. So playing with Nope-Chu and Lemon before he changed his name to some weird ass thing. So anyways, this is the first game we've played together since Steam was recorded December 2021. It's basically October 2022 now. So basically a year. I haven't touched the game. My micro, as you're gonna see in this game, is absolute dog shit. But we get a pretty good matchup. Well, I say pretty good matchup. Our opponents, compared to how we play, somewhat even. We get a pretty good game going. We win, but a lot of mistakes happen along the way. And we're just gonna have an overview of what goes wrong and what we did right. Strategically, we outplay the enemy. That's where our experience in this game shows. But I can't micro go outside of a barn. Nope is doing his usual meme stuff, and basically Lemon here is gonna be our point guard, point man. He's gonna be carrying the team for the most part. He plays solidly throughout the entire game. So anyway, what happens here at the beginning? So I'm asking Nope which side he's gonna go, because on this map right here, the two fuel points are right next to the middle point. Now, basic strategy for Code 2. You only ever need, if you're playing on a 3-point map like this, there are a couple of other maps, I can't remember the names, where they're like 5 or 4 points or whatever. But in a standard map with 3 victory points, if you want to stay in the game, you only need 1, right? You can give up 2 to the enemy, and you can do this for like 20, 30 minutes or so. As long as you can hold on to 1 point throughout the entire game, you can basically win in the end. There's always the possibility of making a comeback. Even though if the enemy is ahead on victory points, having 1 point is all you need. All right. So at the beginning, we're always going for the fuel. So Lemon here is going for the left side fuel. I'm going for the right. Nope-Chu, I asked him in the beginning which side he's gonna go for, because I knew he wasn't gonna make up his mind. He's probably just gonna go to the middle here like an idiot. But I forced him to pick one, and he comes over to the right side here. So normally, I wouldn't be like this aggressive in trying to contest this point on this side here. But since I know that Nope-Chu is coming, I just plant my rifleman in this building here. Usually the enemy will come and occupy this building, which he is going to with his machine gun. But I just stay here and wait for Nope to come in, which he finally does. So one of the big mistakes that I make here, and this is a rookie mistake for the most part, the point itself in the firefight is not the most important thing, because if you lose the firefight and all your units retreat, then the enemy can just walk in and take all the time he needs to capture the points. And because it's a 3v3 or 4v4 type map like this, by the time they retreat and go back to the HQ, then they need to reinforce, heal up, and then come back. There's more than enough time for you to cap the points and get a resource advantage. All right, so winning the firefight, if you are looking to gain map territory, map control, that's one of the most important things. Mistake I make here is that after I cap the VP here, I then have my rear echelons cap the munitions. This is a misplay. I should just use the rear echelons to come in and help with the firefight. But as the engagement here plays out, it wasn't that necessary. As you can see, the Wehrmacht player that we're playing up against, he decides to just spam MGs. He doesn't even go for the Grenadiers and whatnot. Which Nope-Chu, as he's about to go in with his light vehicle meta that we're about to see, he punishes him pretty severely. But for here, my misplay was rear echelons. They don't help out here much. Finally get the next rifleman squad up here, and we're going to contest this point. So we find the MG here set up. The reason why Nope-Chu gets caught out, I'm pretty sure, is because it's a double-story building, and I think he forgot about this as well. He actually has the range on him, even though the outline isn't. It's been like this for years, basically. It's Relic at its finest. But he gets caught out a bit, but he manages to get out. Now, I'm a big skeptical, because usually when I play with Nope, once he gets to a situation like this, he usually immediately retreats. But credit due, he doesn't retreat here. He goes on fighting, he actually flanks around the left, and you're about to see what goes down here. So I'm just waiting. I'm grouping up my guys. I'm thinking about flanking to the right. But seeing that Nope is actually keeping his guys in the game, I switch around. If he's going to the far left, I don't want him to be hanging out all alone on the far left here. So I shift my guys around. Have the rifleman try follow his engineers, and have these guys try to distract the MG. A bit of a mistiming here. He immediately goes all the way in, and my guys get caught around trying to come around the far left. But I see my mistake and immediately rush the guys that were supposed to be a distraction to go in. This is the point where we finally see the second MG over here. At the time of playing the game, we didn't see the second MG come up here. And like I said, my rear echelons went off to the right here, so that was a big misplay. But we win this engagement. I have a mortar coming up. Once I saw the MG and I knew that was a Wehrmacht player, my mortar was the third in my so-called build, shall we say. So that's what's going on. Now, basic strategy for Co, especially in a 3v3 or 4v4, there's always the possibility you get a mismatch at the beginning of the opening engagement, all right? Rookies, what they do is that they see the way that the bases are outlined in the spawn area, and it's just automatically assumed, like a tacit agreement, that the guy on the far left is going to go handle the left side. The guy in the middle is going to go into the middle. The guy on the right is going to go to the right. There's no law that says you have to follow this. And most of the times, if you're playing in a group, there are people who will stack. Let's say if in this case, as we happen to do here, me and Nope, we both go to the right. We're going to double team the guy on the right. And if there's only one guy here that we get the double team, we can beat him and win this side. The risk, of course, is that on the other flank, the enemy probably might have the mismatch. So if there is a mismatch going on, usually what rookies do, and the other veterans, which are like the more salty players, what happens is that once they find themselves in a mismatch, like if the Wehrmacht player here, for example, finds himself fighting two guys at once, they just immediately start complaining that why is no one here helping me? But there's no one here helping you because the game has literally just started. Infantry can't teleport across to the other side of the map. All right, that's not how it works. At this point in time, at 3 minutes, Nope already has his light vehicles coming out, so it is possible to ferry troops around in light vehicles and whatnot, but it's not really a viable kind of practical solution to it. All right, what happens if you do get the mismatch, the guy that's outnumbered, his job right now is to just hold the line and check the enemy. All right, because if you just immediately collapse the flank and retreat, that allows the two guys here that are double teaming you to then get in around to the back of the map and outflank the other side. All right, you can't just give it up. You have to make an effort to hold and try to preserve your troops at the same time. It's a very hard, difficult thing to do. On the other side here, you can see Lemon. What happens here is that he gets a lucky break because the OKW fella on his side, which theoretically this blue OKW player and this yellow Wehrmacht player, they should have a double team on Lemon. But that's not what they're doing because they are completely discoordinated. The OKW player just goes off to the left and he just sits here doing nothing. And that leaves the yellow Wehrmacht player who's trying to focus on the VP, which isn't the most important part of a team game. In the team game, the resources are far more of value in the beginning and the mid game. And in this case, the fuel is always more important than the munitions meta-wise. It lets you get tech up faster and lets you get vehicles faster and lets you get more vehicles for the end game, basically. They leave him alone. So we catch a lucky break here. Eventually, they wise up and they start double teaming Lemon. But here, if we find ourselves in a mismatch on the enemy side, it's our job to make sure that we blitz this guy as fast as we can because we already have the mismatch. We have to take him out, finish off our side, cap it, and then go and help our friend. That's the basic way that it needs to go. And the enemy, if they're competent, they'll be doing the same thing. So it's basically like a roundabout, kind of like a turntable kind of thing. We've got the flank on the right here, and then go left as fast as we can and try to beat the enemy who's on our left flank here from trying to do the same to us and flanking us on the right. So that's basically, if there's a mismatch in the opening, how it needs to be played out. So here, we do okay because this Wehrmacht guy is just spamming MGs. He's just keeping this one here, bring up the other two. I get the flank around with my rifle because that was the opening that Nope with his engineers managed to do, and this scout car proved to be a pretty good distraction. And mortars finally pull up. You know, I start knocking them out. I make a lot of very bad misplays here. Staying in the middle of the road, there's no reason why I need to do that. And here, basically, when fighting an MG, once you get close quarters, you need to work around the edges of the firing arcs. You can't just sit right in front, otherwise you're going to get massacred like this. But since I've got the mortar here, just lob a couple more shells and he's gone, because he's not going to move. My rear echelons, they spent too much time on the far right. When they finally did get them around, it's too late because the MG is already set up.
Enemy has killed a machine gun crew.
Not sure why the Penals retreated there, but it's okay. Even though we haven't capped the point yet, as you can see, Wehrmacht guy here, he can't do much, and he's completely skipped on getting the rifles. What's it called? Yeah, this thing here, Grenadiers. He just doesn't go for any Grenadiers at all.
A fresh mortar crew has
So
arrived.
Lemon here, he's finally been double teamed by the OKW and the yellow Wehrmacht player. And it's at this point that I'm telling Nope that this guy, as we can see, strategically speaking, he doesn't know what he's doing, really. And I'm confident that I will be able, in the end, to get ahead of him. So Nope here, he just comes in with his clown car, and he can afford to do this. Now this is risky, alright? I'm trying to explain this to Nope. Trying to go for the light vehicle stuff. In a 1v1 and a 2v2, you can get away with it, alright? The problem is the timing, okay? The time, you can use the timer at the top to try and gauge how far of a progress in your tech you are compared to the enemy, alright? So a clown car, right up until the 5 to 6 minute marker, it says that's the only window of service life that he gets, right? After that, after 5-6 minutes, light vehicles go out the window because anti-armor, the capabilities of infantry getting the anti-armor equipment, in this game they scale very well, basically, right? And this Panzer Grenadier here, you're about to see, he's going to get the Panzerschrecks and about 30 seconds from this, right? So Nope manages to get the clown car out of the situation and saves it. But after this, he gets another clown car and a T-70. All of them get wiped out, basically. They don't achieve much. Now, I'm not saying that light vehicles are useless. There are opportunities where they are useful. For example, right here, if you had at least one other infantry unit supporting the clown car here, he could have wiped this entire flank out and then immediately shift over to the left, where the OKW fella, he doesn't have any anti-tank. He has very limited anti-tank. He only just got the headquarters here, so I think his Volksgrenadiers have the Panzerfaust now. But like I said, it is quite late. But there are opportunities where you can use the light vehicles to good effect. It's just the window of opportunity is very, very small. You have to be very experienced in order to pull that off. If you want to gain a significant advantage in the opening, right? But yeah, he manages to beam these guys a bit. And just as they're running away, they get the Shreks. And Nope pulls out. So yeah, Nope now finally. He's moving off to the left. I told him to go left. Should have no problem trying to knock this guy out now. I've got all my guys figured out. I've got the mortar, my infantry is all set. Ambulance is ready for the heals when we need to get back. That's about it there. So yeah, Nope with his mobility, he's managed to get around.
Soviet HQ now includes a field hospital, but only for those who are serious.
The second one.
Sniper has arrived.
So bit past it, and you see this up for another like 5 minutes or so. every second that counts down, your light vehicles become redundant, basically. So the enemy is gonna get his anti-armor stuff. Considering the fact that this guy also doesn't have much anti-tank, he doesn't have much. You have the advantage here. The enemy has given you the opportunity to press the advantage. You should just press it. Waiting for support to come up. But I reckon he could have pushed that with both of them very much earlier. But there's that. So I've secured the right. This blue fella here, he's just going to constantly push the right side. To his credit though, he's not as bad as most other rookie players. He does go around and get some flank attacks later on in the game with his Panzer IVs and Shrek blobs, as you're going to see. So we're still waiting. The OKW guy is still being as passive as he could possibly be. He's basically watched his teammates die for the last 8 minutes or so. This guy hasn't got any support and he's been double teamed by me and Nope. The yellow guy is just constantly pushing this mid VP. So we got a little bit lucky in this game. So going with the full Shreks, his anti-infantry capability just falls off the cliff basically. And I'm able to get around with the fire maneuver. So my micro here at the beginning was pretty okay. Later, as the game progresses, it drops off. Get tired, I suppose.
The enemy is taking our territory.
Lemon here is doing a great job because even though OKW guy has been passive, he's been trying to contest this field point. And the yellow Wehrmacht player, his units spill over to the left a bit here and then. So now that the right side is secured and I repelled the blue color player a little bit here, took out his units, I'm now trying to shift over to the left because the Lemon here is getting double teamed and Nope is trying to regroup his guys. I think he's already, yeah, I missed the part where he lost both his clown cars. Now he brings out the T-70. Nothing wrong with the T-70 per se, but every time you spend fuel on your light vehicles, especially in the early to the mid game, you're basically, in my opinion, wasting. And I know that a lot of other players that I've played with are much better than me as well. I would agree that this is a waste, especially in the 3v3, 4v4 situation that we're talking here, right? A large team game in co. Wasting the fuel at the beginning for your light vehicles is not the way to go. And this T-70 basically just gets murdered the moment it touches the front line. Because, as I said before, anti-armor in this game, the way it plays out, absolutely destroys things. So we get into a pretty big firefight here. Managed to get my MG set up just in time. So I got a little bit lucky there. Now I have no anti-armor at this point. I'm depending on Nope's guards to figure out how to deal with this right here because I'm just started building my AT gun. Lemon, being the hero that he is, he brings up his because he's set, he's ready. We're basically hinging this entire maneuver around this one AT gun. So I usually should retreat these, but because he's all alone here, he's just lending us his AT gun. I can't abandon him out here, right? Otherwise he's just gonna die. So we wait, and the enemy actually doesn't push. So once they fall back, I pull my guys out and I make sure I want them to take his AT gun out of here because I can't protect it anymore. OKW still being completely passive on the left. And yeah, this was the right play for the most part because we know that the OKW guy is just going to sit here. We'll let him have the field. We can double team, triple team these two fellas here who aren't particularly good. Just speed it up here a little bit. So I finally get my AT gun up. I'm basically regrouping all my guys up. Got my major out front. I keep this major here even though his units actually come pretty close throughout this entire game, because I'm fairly confident to know that he's not going to be able to push. He doesn't know that I'm here. He's not going to push, because I've seen the way that he plays. It's a risk that normally nobody should take. It's a big bet, but I do it anyway. So I regroup my guys over. Not the most efficient attack. I just get my snares off on this guy, set it up for the AT gun. And I know I've got plenty of anti-infantry capability to take care of his infantry. I already have the answer for his armor with the AT gun, so I'm completely fine on this flank. So Lemon's got his good old Cromwell out. Start putting pressure there.
The new engineer section is waiting for orders.
Technically not a clown car, but I still consider it a clown car. It's the big brother, the scout car, the M5. So Nope's still doing his light vehicle. Now he manages to keep this vehicle alive for a lot longer than it should have, you know, stayed alive in this game. But it's not proof that it's okay. It's not better. But here we can see him make it good effect. These guys, they're completely uncoordinated. This AT gun takes really long to get around to the left side here to try to get shots, but by then it's too late. So good flank on this left side here. Finally gets around, but he reverses into the building, so no line of sight. Very lucky Panzerfaust snare. AT gun out of range. So we leave our support weapons in the middle. I bring my mortar later on and just sit it right behind here.
Our attacking
So
hammer tactics are ready for use.
theoretically speaking, leaving the support weapons in one spot, also the pro players, especially the competitive guys, would look frown upon this. But our micro isn't like top tier or anything, right? And if we try to utilize the support guns all the time, we're gonna take losses. As you're gonna see later on in this game, I'm gonna lose a lot of my infantry because I can't handle the entire army that I have, basically. And a lot of times, I have a lot of my units sitting at the back doing nothing because I retreated them, try to reinforce them, but then forget as the firefight is occurring what's going on. Like at this point here, I've got this going on for me, but I've got a full 2 riflemen just sitting here doing nothing because I'm trying to make sure I don't like lose these guys. And I'm actually got a good flank here, attacking the left side.
The enemy is overrunning one of our capture points.
But it's something I need to work on. But get ambushed by this Panzer IV. So the Wehrmacht player on the right, he's finally woken up, and now he's making maneuvers. We take a lot of time trying to mobilize on this left side. We already know the OKW guy is already hurt, and I'm already behind here. We've got this one tank. This is a problem. But we take a lot of time here, especially with the clown car for Nope. I don't know what he's doing. Should already be pushing up here, but mistakes happen. Knock some guys out. I think I lose 1 unit. I'm not too sure. But we secure an advantage on this side basically. Wiped out the OKW, pushing in, regaining the field. Cromwell, this is Panther 4. Faith in the Cromwell, as always. Yeah, so pull out. So yeah, support weapons still waiting here, but later on as we see, this AT gun in the middle actually saves us at one point slightly. It gets a couple of good shots on a flanking attack that we completely miss in the middle of our engagement that happens on later here, as we will see. Sniper stayed I completely messed this AT gun up. I'm trying to get angles. I'm trying to figure out left or right because this is blocking the Flak Panzer here. So as I'm doing this, trying to get that, and then I switch over here. I'm trying to micro these two things. So basically, after trying to decide where to set the AT gun up, I decided to set it up here, and immediately switch over here to this flank where the two riflemen, which were doing nothing basically just now. I'm trying to make a play on the right side here, and I walk into this MG. So I'm trying to micro these two things at the same time, and it doesn't go well because I lose the AT gun. He gets absolutely destroyed, and I almost lose this entire engagement here. I had to retreat one because it got pinned, and my second guy here, he just barely manages to get out of the line of sight of this MG. So normally what happens here is that you lose both engagements and you lose units on both sides. I catch a lucky break here and actually win this fight here. It doesn't really help out with the major engagement going on, but we're just talking about microing on two sides of the map. What I managed to accomplish, it wasn't very good, but I get something out of it before I get chased away. So now that's going on, I just forget that, get all my guys over to one side, try to help out Lemon here. Finally get the first Jackson out. So here it becomes a back and forth between the left flank and the right. Okay, because this blue guy, he doesn't give up, and from this point on, he's just gonna spam Panzer IVs, spam these supply trucks, and spam what are these guys called? Panzer Grenadiers with Shreks. That's all he's gonna do. That's his entire playbook for this entire game. So it's not that big of a threat. So I'm completely fine with leaving it open so that we can counterattack. The problem here is that looking at it from the big point of view, we should have pressed this OKW guy a lot earlier. The yellow Wehrmacht player is completely spent for the most part. The blue guy, as we've said, strategically speaking, is not the best player. We have enough units in terms of infantry at least, and because of Lemon's Cromwell here, we had opportunity from here in the last 2 minutes or so to make much better pushes into the left side here, because there's nothing here except this one Schwer headquarters. That's it. They don't even have mines, I don't think, on this entire left flank here. But you know, mistakes happen, and for the most part, we don't actually have recon. Most of the times that we play, we don't have anybody with dedicated recon for the most part. Basically, it's me with my major. If I can get him leveled up to the veterancy, I get 2 P-47s for recon, kind of like straight. That's about it. So here, this is where the leaving the support weapons in the middle pay off. The MG spots the flank of the Panzer IVs here coming in. The AT gun actually manages to get shot off, and we basically neutralize this fellow here. There was a mine here. I think Nope probably set it up, so he's basically out of this fight, even though we don't get the kill on him. That gives us time to remaneuver. So I still take some losses, but it could have been a lot worse if we hadn't realized this flank from the blue player here. Blobs. So just have a look at the army states of everybody here. The Axis have basically next to no armor. They have pretty decent infantry size. I've just managed to get my Calliope because this is my answer to everything that I have, because we can really see that they don't have much armor and we're dealing with a lot of blobs. It's 2 Shrek blobs. Both Wehrmacht players are doing Panzer Grenadier blobs. And the OKW fellow, he's bringing in Fallschirmjägers. And he's very passive. He's got all his support weapons. He always just sits along this railroad line track here with all these guys. So I bring in the Calliope, and I bring in another one later on. And that's basically to counter everything that they have in terms of their strength. For us, our armor is basically what's going to win us the game as we continue down. Lemon here, he gets his triple Trinity of Death, gets his Firefly, Centaur, and the Flame Crocodile Churchill tank. That basically helps us win the whole game. But looking at everything else here, we've got Nope with his infantry, 3 guards, 2 engineers. That helps us out a lot. Lemon, as I said at the beginning, he's going to be the guy carrying the game because he has the largest, most well-rounded army, especially as the game continues on. All I'm trying to do is just trying to fill in the gaps because basically in the next 3 minutes or so I'm going to lose like half my infantry because of not paying attention to the micro. And basically I'm just going to be able to support everybody else here. Support Nope's infantry and support Lemon's combined armor with my armor. I'm going to bring out 3 Jacksons, 2 Calliopes. The left of my manpower is going to be filled up with the heavy infantry, with the Rangers. And that's just going to like provide security on the flanks of our forces, basically. I can't do much in the rest of the term, basically, because how the game developed. So we get a little bit of a lull in the fighting here. Both sides are regrouping. So OKW, as I said, pushes in again, sets up his guys along this railroad track line here, and just tries to probe into the field. And this lets us get double team basically again. So I call in the smoke there, just try to screen, and yeah, Lemon comes in and helps out. Engagement in the middle. We get flanked. Yeah, the problem is setting it up in the middle, as I've said, and it's a trade-off. We could have used it off to the left here and try to shut down this assault. This assault basically knocks out the MG, but it's a trade-off. Trade-off of utilizing it for efficiency versus just losing it outright. Even though it gets wiped out, it has done enough damage and suppression to force it back, so we've traded 1 MG to stall this attack, basically. Besides, Lemon has a massive army. I don't blame him for not being able to micro everything. I can't even do that. At this point in time, I can't do anything in terms of micro. As you see most of my infantry, this one dude, I could have just used this guy off somewhere else, push up. I don't know what Nope's doing. No excuse for Nope here. Terrible plays. Look at this, doing absolutely nothing. Jokes. But yeah, we've basically won at this point. At this point in time, even though we've struggled to keep the VPs, in terms of the strategic sense, resources and keeping our units, preserving our units and getting armor out, they're not going to be able to recover from this. I think there's at least one more point when they get a King Tiger out that they could have made a comeback. I'm not too sure. But yeah, we've outplayed them in like the grander sense. A lot of the engagement in terms of the micro firefights, it's gone a bit back and forth. We've managed to secure the overall win. So Nope now starts spamming T-34. He's going to be doing a lot of ramming. Whether the ramming is particularly helpful is another question. So here's where I make this big display. I'm not entirely sure what I was trying to achieve here. These 2 guys, they die, basically. This rifleman, this captain right here. And maybe it was a good thing, because what's happened here is that it's opened up my pop cap here, and I start spamming Jacksons from this point forward, and it basically helps us deal with all the armor that they're about to pull out. So, yep, still spamming Panzer IVs, trying to go off to the right here. Nope's guards are waiting, although I'm not too sure what occurs here. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah. The Stuka strafing runs, they cause a lot of problems, and I don't have any counters for anti-air, so Nope and Lemon, I let them figure that out, and they eventually do. So here is where our big strength is that as you've seen us just now, we take a lot of time trying to mount the attack. Because we take a lot of time trying to identify where to attack in the first place. Because as you can see here in the replay, I've got the fog of war off, so we can see everything that's going on. I'm trying to explain it from the point of view of we played out the game. We don't know what's going on, and this is our first time back for the most part. So most of us are all rusty as hell. But what we do excel at is that once we have identified the threat, and in this case we're counterattacking, and we counterattack pretty much the entire game. Most of our best plays is always a counterattack of some kind. For example, in this flank right here, they came in, bullied Nope's infantry out, but me and Lemon are immediately on the ball, and we're maneuvering in, and we're going to wipe all these guys out, basically. And in doing so, we've let this Wehrmacht player dry. Every time he spams up Panzer IVs, we already know what his MO is. We have all the counters for it. We've basically eliminated him from the game. He's not going to be able to impact the game in any meaningful sense from this point onward. I'm trying to hide my Jackson here because I'm in a really dicey situation. 2 Panzer IVs. Get the infantry up, try scout out anything behind. And basically, we take all 3 out. We wipe everything out here. So no rams. There are real tactical considerations with the Soviet ability to ram with the T-34, but in this case right here, there's not much reason to ram. All right, you could have achieved this exact same outcome without the need to ram. You just maneuver it behind the Panzer IV so he can't reverse out, and he's dead basically. Whereas here, we end up losing T-34. So it's a very minor detail. Not everybody's going to be happy about it. But yeah, we could have avoided that whilst still wiping out all 3 Panzer IVs. That's all I'm saying. So we got pushes in the middle now. The yellow Wehrmacht player just finally got on around getting some heavy armor in. From here on, we're just basically kind of regrouping. Lemon has already stated in the chat. I know we can't see the chat here, but he's getting his Firefly up. But we're now just massing our guys up. Once again, setting up for the counterattack. They've pushed into the middle. We've regrouped our guys. We've identified where the threat is. Now we're going to retaliate. Slight misplay here. I right-clicked on the Panther but forgot to give the stop order basically. And he just chases it. So OKW fella finally wakes up. He decides, oh maybe I should help out in the middle here. So he's gonna give us some trouble. But the good old-fashioned crocodile flamethrower is here. I just need to repair my Jacksons. Basically, the combo here is, for the rest of this game, it's going to be centered around this one unit that Lemon has. It's going to be all of our armor trying to support this tank. Nope's infantry is the only infantry support that we're going to get. The rest of it, Lemon has to micro the rest of his massive army around it. But if you're focusing trying to micro this one unit, which is the cornerstone of the entire strategy of our team here, I don't blame him for not managing his infantry so well. It's a lot of shit to do. What we can do is bully Nope in having his infantry not help us out as much as he should. There's only one instance I can point out, of course. That's about it. Just bullying Panzer IVs with this massed infantry blob. Trying to get the vision for the Jacksons. So just send infantry up and then try to see what's going on. But a bit of a misplay.
Tank destroyer is ready for action.
So we've got the entire right side secured. Nope's just spamming mines. That's pretty good. OKW, as always, sitting in the middle, watching his friends get slaughtered. So here we make our first big push. It's basically our first major attack. It's not really a counterattack. I have the Crocodile leading the front, and I've got the rest of my AT units up behind. I'm a bit slow to react, because basically it takes me about 10-15 seconds longer than it should have taken me to come in and support this Churchill, basically. But we get around to doing it. So Lemon's providing the infantry support, and I'm just following behind with my Jacksons. First King Tiger, second one comes out afterwards. So this ram right here, yes, this is one of the cases where it is very, very effective, because we basically need to make sure he doesn't run away. We do manage around to get the kill. The rest of the Axis team wake up and finally come in behind, but it's too late. We've knocked out the King Tiger. And by the time they've engaged here, well, there's not much they can do, because we've already bled them dry for the majority of the game right up until this point. And this is all the armor that they have left, basically. And we've still got all of our units in play. They just basically try to save the King Tiger, and they just get wiped out, basically. So from here on forward, that's it. The game is basically over. The reason why it still takes another like 20 minutes is because we're playing very conservatively. Nothing fundamentally wrong with that, but we could press the advantage right now and win the game outright. Because the Axis have nothing left. This entire left flank, there's nothing here. Their HQ, I'm not too sure if we identified the HQ was here at this point in time, but even then, we just pushed up a little bit. We would have been able to wipe out his entire army. We make one big misplay here. We fall into a trap of overextending slightly. We lose this Crocodile Churchill here. Yeah, here. Mass blobs come in again. So Churchill goes down. I lose this Jackson as well, because I completely forget about it. I'm trying to move with this Jackson up here, trying to make sure that we get some counterplay. Nothing happens, and too long trying to micromanage this Jackson. Forget about this guy here. I lose it, but it doesn't really matter per se, because we have the strategic resources. We have much more fuel and munitions than they do, basically. They can't replace their losses like we can in terms of armor. Still struggling to get this AT gun. I don't know what happened to this drop here. They landed in an open field, but they all died. So we're pulling back and regrouping. Nope's changed his clown car here to the variant to get the anti-air, and Lemon brings out a Centaur suit. The Luftwaffe strikes are very annoying. That's all they've got left going for them, basically. So a slight lull in battle, but they're basically lost. They just don't know it yet. Got some artillery going. One artillery gun. Still spamming T-34s. So the last push in the game basically occurs once we get the next Churchill. And that's it.
Section of Tommies has been trained.
lot of back and forth on the left side.
The Churchill Crocodile is ready. Centaur Ack tank ready and waiting for orders.
So I missed a couple of the Calliope shots, but they still have decent effect. Even if it misses, most of the time guys panic and you just immediately retreat, which happened there a couple of seconds ago. More misplays here. Should just immediately retreat these guys and run on there. But we've got our entire armor platoon all set up. I keep my major here but way too long. Lose the ambulance, but I don't lose much other than that. So here is the last plate I'm just gonna show, because after this there's nothing much to talk about in terms of analyzing. So once again, we've got the counterattack going on. The blue player here has masked up his Shrek Blob and Panzer IVs yet again, and he's now supported by this Panther. So okay, fine. And they've managed to basically remove all our units on this side, and now we're reacting. We've mobilized everything on this flank, and now we're shifting immediately to the right to deal with this threat. And this is important, because this is basically the bread and butter of our synergy. This is what we do best. It's always just counterattacking. So the problem with the build overall of our entire army is that our infantry is lacking. Well, I say our infantry. As you can see, Lemon here, he's got plenty of infantry units. And nope. His guards, 3 guards, I mean, that's pretty good. That's very good, actually. My guys, most of them got wiped out. That's all I've got left. Everything here is just built around the Jacksons and the Calliopes, basically. But the enemy, if they can swarm enough, and not blob, if they could just spread out their Shreks a little bit further. He's trying to go for a ram again. Not very efficient. But our problem here is that we can't actually really deal, because one flame crocodile against an entire Shrek blob is not. It's pretty risky, basically. Right? There is a scenario where they can win if we're all broken up, basically, which is what happens here. My Jacksons get caught out by this Panther that goes on the far left. So Lemon's Churchill's all alone, basically. What we're banking on here is Nope's infantry, and this is the last big play that I just want to talk about. Nope just walks his infantry right past the blob. I mean, the blob is still in the game, man. We need help to deal with this, because we don't have the capability for the most part. You see? I mean, this could have gone really bad. If it had turned out just slightly more in their favor, this could have gone really bad for us. And Nope's infantry just walked right past out to try recap the zone. There's no hurry to recap the zone, as I said at the beginning of the game. Once we win the engagement and all their units have retreated, we can take all the time in the world to recapture all the points. All right, this is a problem here. But because they're so low and they've just walked into my Calliopes, I just get one good lucky shot off, and we wipe out this entire blob here. You see, we almost lose the Churchill.
The enemy cut our supply line.
So yeah, that's it basically. Game is over. Those are all the major points in the match that I want to talk about. Basically, we managed to recapture this entire flank, and we run the enemy down on tickets. And there's nothing they can do. They can't counterattack. We do get one more tank engagement against this King Tiger, which just gets slaughtered basically. But that's about it. So yeah, that's all for this video. Just wanted to cover up the analysis of the game as it occurred. Try to point out all the things that went wrong and the things that went pretty good. So yeah,